Hi, I'm Nicole from Project Design Team at Cricut, and I'm here to show you how to make the face mask with window. So first we're going to start with finding the design on Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to select the mask project. I'm going to select the small or medium adult face mask with window, and then I'm just going to hit make it. I have a probably 16 gauge plastic, it's upholstery plastic that vinyl that I got from a local big box store. Then I have two pre-washed and dried and pressed cotton fabric, and I have my 12 by 12 fabric mat. So the first mat that comes up is actually for the plastic. So we're going to, and this can go directly on the fabric cutting mat as well. It doesn't need to be on anything different. And we can cut it with the same setting with the rotary blade that is already loaded. So I left it long. That's going to load. I have plenty of space behind my machine. Now I do not have the fabric marking pen with me today for this, so I'm going to turn it off, and we're going to hit continue and select the machine that we're using today, which is this maker right here. And I'm going to type in cotton, and that will give me some options. I use the medium fabrics like cotton setting. I'm going to star it because I use it a lot, and then select it and done. And it's ready to go, so I just hit go. So I'm going to carefully peel this away. And now I'm going to load my cotton fabric. And I'm going to load that. So we have that loaded. We're going to hit go. So you'll see how easily, so like butter, super nice. So I'm just very gently pulling this off to not make it fray any more than it needs to. Anything else to do that as well. So that's going to be probably the liner, because I like this light blue a little bit better as the outer fabric. And now it's going to cut again. Now we have the outer portion, we have the liner portion, and we have the vinyl plastic. So the first thing that you're going to sew on these is the front portion. So you're just going to follow along here. If I had it drawn, you would just follow along, but it's just 1/4 inch seam allowance. So you'll just sew along this front here. So we're going to sew across the front of the mask. That's about 1/4 inch. Then I'm just going to bring this up a little bit and this piece in. So now we have these. I'm going to press the seams, so you're just going to go over it. And I use my Easy Press Mini, which is a lifesaver for this. It's so small. Now, the next step is the beginning of the trickiest part. So we need to press the opening where we have all those small snips that the Cricut cut for us, maker cut for us, that we need to press those inwards. So I use just a water bottle sprayer. And then we're just going to press the seams inwards. So this is a really important part to get more or less precise. So you're going to fold this to that point and press that down all the way to that other side. I'm going to do all 4 sides that way. So that's makes it quite a bit larger. You can see the window. So we're going to set that aside and repeat it with the other piece. So you're going to take both pieces, you're going to put them right sides together, and hopefully you did your seams, pressed them the same direction, so when they're right sides together, they're opposite, so they can nest just like you would with quilting or anything like that. You want it as flat as possible. So you're lining them up. You can use pins. I'm gonna go without any pins right now because they're nesting pretty well. And you're just gonna sew along the top and the bottom, leaving the sides open and the window portion open. So now I'm doing, so I did the top, now I'm doing the bottom. I've gotten faster and faster the more of these I've made. So that's the good news. If I can do it, you can too. So then we're gonna turn it right side out. So I've been doing it from the actual window because that's the biggest portion. It's easiest for me. So I just turn it right side out through that, and then we're going to press those seams flat. And again, if you want to use the water to help get a really nice crisp edge, you can, but it's not super necessary. So now it's the tricky part. So we have our plastic for your face. So I like to slide it in between the 2 layers, and you can generally feel the edge of the plastic with your fingers. So it's a lot stiffer than the fabric is. So I like to align it so it's more or less in the middle. Then I bring it over to the machine and use the foot to hold it in place. Now I'm trying to keep it as close to the edge of the fabric of the fold as possible, so that there's not a big gap in between. And then I start at basically what is the bottom corner of the window, and sew all the way around and going as slow as I need to go. I also kind of bowl the mask so that it lays a little flatter on the actual plastic. So you'll see what I mean. I make sure all of the pieces are aligned where I want them, and then I just start sewing. And then I'm in my needle down position and I can swivel this around and line up the next part. And sometimes you'll get like a little crease on the corners. I haven't really had a problem with that being there. You can stop and readjust as much as you need to. Just take your time, because this is by far the hardest part. But you can see that's kind of how it ends up. You can see that it domes out a little bit, which is exactly what we want. So to finish this mask, we're going to tuck in the sides and you just press. And again, I'm keeping my hand in between where the plastic is and that outer edge. Make sure you're attaching the top elastic to the top of the mask. You can see here, this is the top of the mask. So we'll insert it here. You have about 1/2 inch in, and you're going to place a pin to hold it in place with the pin head on the side of the elastic. Leave yourself enough room. Then we're going to insert the bottom elastic, which is shorter, the same way. And you can take out the pins now that it's being held by the foot. That's going to give you a little resistance. So make sure you keep it straight. And then you can use the back stitch. Okay, so now we're going to bring it around to the other side. Make sure it's not rolled or crisscrossed. Okay, so we've added the elastic and we're almost done. We're just going to put in the stick-on bridge piece. And I like to put it about 1/4 inch from the very edge and then bend it down into position along the sides. Just so that it's sort of rounded, because it needs to be fully adjusted once it's on, whoever is going to wear the mask. So we don't want to overdo it at this point, but you can see that it holds its shape really well. And there you go.